back. We're about to move into Game 3 of Meet Your Makers versus Dexter is Actually Evil. Of course, you've just seen Game 2, a close one, a very close one. 1 hour, 1 minute, and
29 seconds.
29 seconds it was in the end. Not that you needed to know the seconds, I suppose. But that just shows the promise of Dexter is Actually Evil. They can beat Meet Your Makers. They did it on the blue team. Now they're going back over to the red team, which, you know, unlucky so far in this game.
Yeah, we saw Moops. I mean, in the first game, he wasn't that impactful, but this time on Lux, like, everyone was afraid of him. You saw him that last fight, or the last fight, he got Libic solo right in the beginning. He was forcing a flash away. He did exceptionally well on Lux. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see a ban on her this time. But then again, we have Meet Your Makers back on the blue side. We've seen the blue side win 2 games out of 2 so far. Maybe this is their map to win. And I'm trying to think if there's any other, potential bans that might come out, but I still expect the Twist of Fate to be taken away.
I think the Twist of Fate will go as well. I mean, we saw Meet Your Makers take it out last time. They didn't want it to be first picked in by Dexter is Actually Evil. And I expect the same from Dexter is Actually Evil this time around. Of course, they did ban Twisted Fate on the red side last time. You guys still have a chance, of course, to vote over on lolesports.com for the team which you think is going to win this game. The voting has swung a little bit. It's now 88% in favor of Meet Your Makers. So it seems like everyone is still with Meet Your Makers generally, but 1% slide again. We'll see how that all turns out in this one. But if you are just joining us, the scoreline is 1-1, best of 3. So the winner of this next game does go through. And the point is, whoever wins this one will go through to play Dragonborns in a best of 5 for a spot in the LCS Summer Split. The loser will be going home.
Yeah, and that's going to be a hard series to take as well, because they have a best of 5 to play. They're playing against a trained-up Dragonborns. It's really anyone's game at that point, and you also have a lot of history between these 2 teams and Dragonborns as well. And Joe, I was thinking back to Meet Your Makers in terms of like more towards the roots a little bit. And I remember back in Singapore, we saw Char playing a lot of Wukong, like mid lane, and he kind of fell out because he got nerfed a little bit, but I don't think he's going to go for that, but that'd be kind of exciting to see because he could really catch a team off guard with that.
So we're going to get into the bans and the picks here in just a second. They're actually going pretty quickly here. So let's run you through them then. For Meet Your Makers, banning out Diana and Zed on the other side. Thresh taken out, Zac taken out as well. We've seen him now in 2 games out of 2.
Yeah, what I'm curious about is we've seen Diana banned every time, so they don't want Moops playing him. But will they leave the Ahri open? Because Moops wasn't, like I said before, that impactful in the first game. Maybe they want to bait him into it, though I don't think he's going to go for it yet again. We see Nasus banned out again. I mean, that's the same bans we saw last time. And of course, the Twisted Fate being taken away. So Meet Your Makers looks like actually going with Shen as their first pick. So it looks like they would kind of want to go for some split push, but they also have a little bit of global presence from him.
Yeah, first pick for him. And usually see him in the first round, in the first 3 picks, 1 for the blue and 2 for the red. After that, Sona and Nautilus. So happy with what happened last time here with that Sona Nautilus pick, and so they should be. It worked out really nice for Dexter is Actually Evil. That's what they're going to be going with this time around. Will Meet Your Makers now try and seal up an AD carry? And by an AD carry, I'm talking about Varus.
That is a very likely potential. And also there's a Zyra left open again for Lubic, which, let me just say, his ultimates last game were pretty good. Like, consistently good on his Zyra ultimates, but
yeah,
I don't know if they're going to pick that up yet again to go for that, or maybe go for something a little bit different. And just as you called it, Joe, that Varus will be locked in, so you're going to see Macler on him. And that Varus can be just so deadly in the early game if you can get a little bit sort of an advantage. I'm trying to think what support they're going to go with, because there's no reason to not pick it, and it looks like they will be going for that Zyra yet again.
Crystal Ball is working today. That's always a good sign, since we have another 3 best of 3s coming your way after this one. Lots of action this weekend. Will be followed by 2 best of 5s tomorrow, and then 2 best of 5s on Sunday. A possible 32 games over the course of this weekend. As I said earlier, we have stocked up on the oxygen tanks just in case. So Dexter is Actually Evil. Picks 3 and 4 here. They've got the support and their jungler in there. Will they go for an early mid lane pick again? They've been
doing that consistently now. Last time it was Lux. If they're going to pick Ahri now, it'd kind of be the time, I guess, if you want to go for it. Unless you want to go for a counter specifically. The thing is, we've seen Cassin left open, which you've seen a lot in the LCS, like a lot. And when you're on the red side, you can afford to leave it as your last pick, because then you can counter their AP, the AP really easily. But so far, both teams have just been picking up their AP, relatively early on.
Well, misfortune. Probably expected, to be honest, with Varus already gone from the lineup at this stage, and a Rumble, which was banned out in the last game by Dexter is Actually Evil.
Yeah, they wanted to take away from Cubon, but they gave him Shen instead. Not 100% sure necessarily will the Shen be going top lane. It could always be in the jungle. We've seen that happen lately. But I mean, for the most part, it will be in that top lane. But you know, for Meat Makers, pick up their jungler to pick up their middle lane. Like we mentioned before, you know, Makati was known for his Udyr, but it looks like they're kind of straying away from that a little bit. They have a little bit of an AoE composition, and just as we completely forgot about him, Kha'Zix seems to be being hovered on.
Yeah, you know, a highly contested pick, which has not even been scratched upon today so far in this best of 3, but that may all change with Meet Your Makers this time around, which would indicate that, you know, Kha'Zix in that middle lane, and say Shen top. Oh, we can just forget exactly that I've just said. I was talking earlier about Charu's Karthus. Now, we're going to get to see that here. He's been absolutely incredible with it. Kha'Zix top lane, Shen jungle. That's
a lot of damage they're going to have for their team. And also, you have that element of surprise with Shen. When he hits that level 6, you can catch him off guard with that ultimate. But, you know, we saw Charu early on just out-farm Moops completely. Like 100 CS pretty much was the state it was at for both games. And that was just on other champions. He's even on his Karthus finally, so we're going to see him get some ridiculous numbers here. But we do see the Ahri picked up from Moops again. Like I said before, it wasn't impactful in game number 1. It might be a little bit different here since Ahri does pretty well against Karthus.
Yeah, really interested to see how this one goes down. Karthus, as we said, is Charu, one of Charu's big boys in terms of that middle lane. Will they be able to replicate that one here? We are going to find out in just a few seconds. But first appearance of the day also for Kha'Zix in this top lane for Kubon. We'll be seeing Shen for the first time today in the jungle, at least.
Yeah, and I love what Trickers did right there, because they baited in that rumble a little bit. Like, they're like, hey, we'll show you Shen, so you expect him top lane, but we're going to run jungle on you, so then we can get Kubon on a champion he's more comfortable with against your rumble. And this should be really exciting to see. And we'll find out, because Charu is running that teleport yet again. Wasn't that impactful last game? I mean, we keep saying that, but it didn't do too much in the second game. The first game it did quite well, though.
Yeah, and, you know, the thing is with Karthus, you're going to be right in there on top of them. When that's the point, at least. And then you're going to have Stan United coming in as well. That's going to keep Karthus alive that little bit longer, so that then when his passive's there, it's even more time for him to be doing that damage. We'll see how that one actually goes. But the interesting thing to note about this one now is that Moops has also picked up teleport for that mid lane.
Yes, this is going to be really cool to see if he can actually follow Charu around. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Charu. I might be wrong here, that actually runs home guard boots on his Karthus, and then he teleports in behind you and just like speeds into you with all of his abilities and just catches you so off guard that you don't really have time to react to that.
Yeah, that's certainly something that we've seen from him, going home guard fairly early on in most of these games. And now, it makes sense as well when you've got a teleport in there, to be honest.
And not to mention your Karthus, you want to get back to lane to farm as much as possible. And we'll see how that works out for him.
So here we go then, let's get into game. It's Meet Your Makers versus Dexter is Actually Evil. Final game of this best of 3. Loser going home, of course, for the winner will play against Dragonborns in a best of 5 for that spot. One of the 4 spots in the LCS summer split here in Europe. So, level 1, Jason. Can we expect anything? It's not happened so far.
Yeah, I expected it in the second game. Didn't really happen right there. I wouldn't expect it in the third game, just because both teams are taking this very seriously. They're going to be very hesitant. You saw, you know, in the end of the last game, just how defensive each team is playing, how just hesitant they didn't want to go for an engage because they knew they could lose it out right there. But it's going to be even more so now.
Charu. Now, good thing about those late wastes, you can check the bushes as you go, and they don't cost all that much to do it. But looks like we aren't going to be seeing too much there. The top laners on the top side of the map, everyone else on the bottom sides for both teams.
And we actually see Kiki's doing something yet again. He has a pink ward picked up early on, so it looks like he wants to go for an early gank in the top lane, and we'll see if that works out quite well for him, because the Nautilus is a pretty strong ganker. You have the ability to lock them down, but, you know, it's a Kha'Zix. You have that jump. That leap is just so hard to go for a gank on.
And there is the ward taken away by Kikis on the top side. Kha'Zix with, of course, Kubon just dropping back down in towards his jungle. Looks like Karthus is going to be starting off with the Wraiths there. Shen is currently on that bottom side as well, so it's going to be a red start for him. Looks like Nautilus will start blue.
And Makati, he's got to give a little bit of help into that top side. We even see on your minimap right now that Kiki's been very aggressive in the blue bush right now. He's trying to stop Kubon from doing those wolves.
Yeah, very aggressive here. The big wolf going to be coming under contention.
Oh, Kubon actually popped his red pot there.
So
and he steals it. He steals away the big Wraith. So he's going to be running back to lane. We do see an evade coming out. Meat Makers on the blue here.
Yeah, coming in there. They will manage to land in there on towards Fusharp, but not able to get the kill. Pink ward is down. Are we going to see the pick up? Yes, we are. Shen smites away the blue buff. Nice pick up for MYM early on, but can they secure their blue buff? And actually, we are going to see Kha'Zix taking away the blue early.
So it looks like he Well, okay, no, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure if he popped that red pot early just because he wanted to go for the wolves and because he saw that Kikis was coming, or if he actually, in fact, wanted to take away this blue buff here. They'll give him a nice little bit of sustain in the top lane, and because you have Makate already having a blue, he's not going to need it. But that's getting very close.
Yeah, very close, but he's going to get there. That's definitely something planned. Wouldn't be the best game ever to showcase yourself dying to the blue buff right at the start of the game. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like that, though.
But the problem is, like, Kikis was able to take 2 full waves in the top lane. Now Kuban's going to be back, but I don't know if he's going to be back in time to pick up all the CS that's currently there, all the experience. So even with that blue buff, Kikis can still take him in a head-on-head fight.
Well, he's going to be heading up there as the bottom lane here, laughing at each other as things go. He doesn't ward down, actually. Those wards are going to be even more important in this game because of both players in the middle lane running teleports.
Yes, it is, and you have to keep an eye. I mean, we saw Dexter's actually Evil do a phenomenal job in game number 2, actually spotting every time Charu would teleport in. And we do have, as you see on your mini-map, Nautilus sitting towards the top side. He's actually able to catch Kha'Zix here.
Yeah, Kha'Zix could be in trouble. Dexter just gonna wait. Oh, Kuban decides to go down, but the dredge line will land. Have they got enough damage here? Kuban forced a flash, but Rumble's gonna follow him in. Kikis, is he gonna be able to pick up the kill and the blue buff? Yes, he is. First blood for Kikis. Great start for Dexter, who's actually evil.
So well done. So they give the blue buff over to Kikis. Kuban's still level 1 at this point, and that was just great positioning by Dexter to realize that and take advantage of that pink ward being put down. That just paid for itself in dividend, or wow, paid for itself quite a bit. Trying to use words I don't understand.
Down at the bottom there, Fushop actually getting quite low. Looks like Charu, is he going to be sticking around? Are we going to have a lane swap here? Actually, Kha'Zix is headed to top lane as well, so maybe they're just trying to bait out here and we'll end up going 2-for-1 onto Rumble. I should stop the predictions because they never come true anyways. Kikis walks over that pink ward and is going to head down towards middle himself. Gets a ward there on the ramp just to see exactly what's going to be going on.
Yeah, that was just a huge wave of farm that he wanted to pick up right there, so it helped out quite a bit. He's level 4 right now, so he's, you know, tied in levels at this point. And also it gave Makate a little bit of CS, a little bit of experience in the middle lane in the meantime. And as we see in the bottom lane, Mapler and Limit, they've been pushed up into the enemy turret pretty much the entirety of this game now.
Yeah, they have, and putting a lot of damage down onto Fushop. The problem with that is that, of course, Sona is going to keep him healed up the entire time. The best that you're going to have of that is when AOD actually runs out of mana and can't really stick around for that one too long. But certainly a lot of pressure and an 11 CS lead currently. And constant harassment from Meet Your Makers. But with that Rumble in the top lane, blue buff on, first blood, CS lead, he's going to become very dangerous.
Yes, he is. And the problem is that you're going to... Oh, we do see AOD taking some good damage right there. And he doesn't have the mana, just like you're saying before, to really heal it up anymore. So now Meet Your Maker is going to be very aggressive here, going to push the wave up. Might even potentially go for a kill. But Makate, he's going to have to commit a lot of time towards his top lane now because he has to get Kuban back in the game. We've seen Kha'Zix's, like, if you get rolling a little bit, you can just destroy the enemy team because of those resets, because of that damage you do.
Yeah, has just hit level 4 there. Of course, Kikis is a little bit further on than him. Doing a good job of keeping his CS up as well. We've got almost a 15 CS lead in that bottom lane, which is dangerous, you know, for Fushop. See how they react to that one. We can see that Sona is slowly but surely trying to heal things up and making sure that they can stay around there and not miss any of those minion kills.
You know, we've just seen the dominance of the Meet Your Makers AD carry support lane because every game they've been doing this. They've just been pushed up nonstop. They've just been in their face trying to do as much damage as possible, and they're not really worried too much about the enemy jungler because they have good ward control and they have that good disengage out of Zyra.
So Makata's in top lane now. Kikis has that level advantage at this point as Makata is going to work his way forward. He's only level 3 though. Does have that red buff on so they can hold Kikis down. But it's going to be up to a good taunt. If the taunt lands, then they've got a chance. If not, they can kiss their chance goodbye. As Kikis is starting to come out. Playing this one very patiently at this stage. I mean, Kikis must be wondering, hey, why is he not hit level 5 by now? As they are going to jump in on top of him. The Ignite is down. There's the Equalizer coming in. Have they got the damage? No, but Karthus will have here coming through. Charu picks up the kill, but Moops has got involved in the top lane. Gets himself one. Can he get the second? The charm not quite got the range on towards Makata. And Karthus is coming down here on the bottom side. The taunt is going to land. Moops now in trouble as the Wall of Pain gets him, and he's not escaping that one. And that will be 2 kills for Charu.
Holy crap, Makate flash taunted him right there, locked down Moops, and were able to pick up that kill over to Charu. That was just so well played overall with the Karthus ultimate coming in. I was just about to say, like, I remember Michi Makers being one of those teams that they will perfectly use that Karthus ultimate every time when they want to go for that dive. Great job by them. Now they have 2 kills over to Karthus, and that's never a good thing.
Charu going head-to-head with Dexter, and I'll tell you what, Dexter can't fight this one, has to flash away.
Yes, he was. That just shows how much damage he can do early on. He already has his tier being stacked up at this point, and that just stamps their dominance. I mean, the advantage we saw happen in that top lane for Kiki just got completely turned around in the form of Charu.
Yeah, really nicely done. He's now 2 for 0, 20 CS lead as well. But Rumble still has double the CS of the Kaz. It's got that haunting guys in now. There's going to have to be a bit more pressure, I think, from Shen up in this top lane if they want to deal with Rumble and stop him, you know, really running away with things. Yeah,
definitely a little bit. But luckily for Kuban, he does have his tier finally now, so he'll be able to sustain a little bit as long as he can sit in those minion waves and heal up. And Kiki can't really dive him under turret at all anymore because that leap is just going to be such a pain. Not to mention the flashes will be up very shortly.
Flash is back in play. Just a moment's time. Bottom lane there, while we were looking at it, 69 to 48, so 20 CS lead now being formed for Makler. Slowly but surely, that's getting to be a ridiculously high amount that he's getting in front.
It's been the story, though, of the entire series, if I'm not mistaken, that Michi Makers, though, out CS you in the mid lane and as the AD carry, but still, I mean, as you saw, we saw in game number 2, Dexter's Actually Evil can't come around and win those fights, and we're seeing that pink ward war happen right now, Joe.
Pink ward war, which Charu, I think we can say, has won that one, taking away a pink and the site ward as well. So good job for Charu. You know, those little psychological victories always help. It's
like a mini game within League of Legends, just like ARAM. There's a ward war. That's not easy for me to say, but either way, Dexter is level 6 now at this point, so he can go for a gank. Because Makati has been committing so much time over towards the top lane to go for a gank, hasn't been able to pick up his jungle as quickly. He's actually not level 6 just yet, but now Dexter, he's gonna get his hand on this mini game here and take it back over to Dexter's Actually Evil.
This is turning out interesting. Karthus has a pink ward.
You know he's going to go for it. You can see him waiting right there on the
Most interesting thing to happen since those 2 kills came in from Karthus in that top lane. Is he going to get in there for that pink one again? That's the crucial thing that we're going to find out here,
Jason. I hope we will find out.
Live between Meet Your Makers and Dexter's Actually Evil. In that bottom lane there, wards were put down towards the dragon as well. As Chara just keeps that farm up. He's also got almost a 20 CS lead there over his opponent. Moves on Ari this time around. Meat Makers again. Look how far up they're pushed. They've done this over and over and over again, trying to basically get that Sona out of mana constantly, but they need to be careful. With Dexter coming around, that's the thing that could switch the balance in this bottom lane.
Not to mention, Macro doesn't have cleanse, so if he does get locked down with that crescendo, I mean, he's going to have to flash away, but if Dexter appears at all and hits you with that knock-up, like, you're going to die. You're not going to be able to get away too easily. But still, I mean, they're just being that aggressive, and it's been paying off because of that CS lead they have.
So, sad to tell you that the pink ward from Karthus was actually placed on the bottom side of that middle lane, as the equalizer did just come out there on towards Kuban in that top lane. Obviously not picking himself up a kill, but crucially forcing him out of lane once again. Kiki's up to the level 9 to the level 8, and he must be close to hitting that level 10 mark as well. In terms of CS there, it's still holding at 20, so 20 CS seems to be almost a magic number.
Yeah, it is. And as long as the game is going to progress on, it's going to get bigger and bigger. And the thing is, you have Chari who's working towards his Rod of Ages. He's going to have that item he needs to be, tanky enough to deal with the damage that Dexter's Actually can put out, as long as he can sit in the middle of the team. And they have to do something about that. They can't afford to let Charu get so farmed up, because we know how strong his Karthus is. We've seen it so far this game.
So the AD carry builds here are a little bit different. Vamp sets the Doran's Blade and Boots compared to the BF Sword and the Doran's Blade here, which as Sona hits level 6, tells me that they might want to get aggressive here.
And also, it's the same build that Fushar's been going this entire time. He's gone Bloodthirster, Last Whisper every single time so far. Macro last game went for a Blade of the Rune King. In the first game when he was on Misfortune, went for the Bloodthirster, Last Whisper combo. And he's going to be going for the Blade of the Rune King in the IE combo on Varus, because it's just so strong. But they might be aggressive. I mean, you might be right, Joe, because he didn't pick up Boots, so it might show that they want to be aggressive. They want to go for a kill and take advantage of the early game.
Well, right now, AOD is stood on a pink ward in this bottom lane that was put down by Libic a couple of minutes ago. they've let this lane come out a bit now, so Meteor Maker's not content with keeping pushed up that entire time.
And they also want to create the pressure of where Makati is, because you have a double global presence of Charu and Makati. So if they ever go for the engage, you're going to have the shield to stop someone from dying. Then you're going to have the ult and the damage out of Charu to turn a fight around. You do see Makati sneak in the bottom lane, so it looks like they were letting it push just for that reason. Not to mention, as we're seeing right now, they have the ability to freeze them out. They're just keeping them zoned. They're denying them a lot of experience. And it is level 7 currently to level 7, but that's going to change very shortly.
There's another pink ward down by Kikis just to keep Kuban guessing in this top lane as to whether anything's going to go down. AOD, oh, look at that ward in. Perfectly timed there, goes straight on top of Meteor Maker's ward just as it times out. Makata is now up at level 7, of course, does have a Giants built in with that Madrid Razor for the early start to this one. But things have really quietened down.
Yeah, what we see in the bot lane at Macro, he's staying there as long as possible because he wants to full buy that Blade of the Rune King when he finally does get the money for it. But we do see Dexter coming down. This could easily turn to a kill here. If you pair in those ultimates, they can easily blow someone up. Pair that in with the bullet time, and you're not going to escape. But yeah, I mean, it's been relatively quiet, and I think that's just the pressure they're under right now, Joe.
Yeah, definitely a high-pressure situation. Meteor Makers were very close to making it for the spring split, but imagine all that training that they've done in between to come into this one and end up losing out again. That's not something that you want to happen. Well, obviously, that's pretty much Captain Obvious statement. But the point is that what happens to a team like Meteor Makers after failing twice to qualify, after sticking together through thick and thin, which is what they've done. I'm interested to see that, but from their sake, it's not over just yet. We're in the third game. It's still all even, bang on even, in fact, if you look at golden kills.
We do see item builds just building up a little bit more. I mean, that's been the story of the series so far. As we do see the blue not taken away, as Charu gonna actually it does get stolen.
It was stolen, yeah. It was stolen there by the equalizer of Kikis, who's just tormenting his former teammates at this stage. But here comes Kuban, gonna go in towards Kikis. Karthus ultimate gonna come in there from Charu. Have they got enough damage? And the harpoon is gonna slow down Kuban. And I tell you what, Kuban might not get out of this one alive here. He will go down. A kill for Dexter. What a turnaround.
And that was such a good effort too, because they wanted to get that blue buff back with that Karthus ultimate finishing him off, but they just didn't have the damage. In the meantime, the bot lane, we did see Sona go down, have the flash and the exhaust still available, but it looks like Mackler just flashed. Actually, sorry, it looks like Dexter's actually evil did engage, but then they got countered on.
Yeah, and that Karthus ultimate came down as well, which is always like, oh, they've got a lot of damage.
Yeah, it wasn't even meant for that. It wasn't even meant for that at all, but it worked out.
Yeah, they got that one in as well, and that's going to beat Rod of Ages picked up by Karthus. And that was interesting. Kuban actually backed away there just as that harpoon hit him, then tried to get back in, and they closed him down nicely. So Dexter's actually evil. Nice little turnaround. They've got a kill with Rumble, kill with Nautilus, kill with Arias. Food Sharp here, taking a lot of damage, but the turret's there to protect.
And they're just going to force him out of lane, deny him some CS as they're pushing it up right now, and he's going to have the money. He's sitting on 2,400 gold right now. We see Charu getting a ton in the mid lane, but here goes Makati.
Yeah, Makati coming in, and Moops is going to flash there from that one. Didn't have his ulti available to cover the ground that he would have needed to escape, and decides he's better safe than sorry.
Well, we do see Kiki's in the bottom lane right now. Looks like they might potentially want to go for Dragon at this point, and they are leaving Kuban all alone in the top lane. The CS lead is about 30 CS at this point, but I'm not sure if Dexter Evo can do this outright. I mean, you do have Makati in the vicinity, so the Karthus ultimate is down, but looks like they will be able to get it.
Yeah, I'm going to be picking that one off. Zyra pretty much the only hope to steal, and Livik is actually recalling right now in the tri-bush, so that's not going to work out. And Dexter is actually able to take down the dragon, and that will give them 1,000 gold lead. Yeah, that just shows you how close it is.
Exactly, yeah. Because we've had a lot of CS difference. Actually, as I say that, we see that Moops is caught up to Charu now. It's at 150 to 141, so he's able to do that. But we see Mackler's been able to stretch it a little bit farther away from Foo Sharp, who did buy that Bloodthirster outright, as well as the Blade of the Rune King. And it's at the point right now where Meteor Maker should be able to win a fight in the bottom lane. We already seen it happen before, but they should be able to take it even easier now.
Yeah, and they need to be careful about that one. But, pair the Crescendo and Bullet time in there. Maybe if Nautilus can get around as well to drop that depth charge, then things can change very, very quickly. As Dexter there was going in towards Karthus in the middle. Actually was just there to really cover that middle lane to make sure that none of that CS went to waste under the turret. Things move again into a bit of a quieter phase. As Mackler actually going heavy here on towards Foo Sharp, has managed to get this low. There's a Crescendo. Actually, Mackler misses the chain of corruption. And I think the crescendo actually missed completely as well.
Yeah, he didn't get hit with the crescendo, and then Fusharp flashed out of that chain of corruption right there. So overall, it's a good play out of Dexter's Actually Evil, but it shows like the dominance MYM has in this bottom lane. It shows that Dexter's Actually Evil has to be really careful here. And now MYM's back to zoning them completely. I mean, it looks like, it looks like Moose might be coming down here. We do have teleport up for Charu, so he could get involved here. And there is a ward behind them, as you see in the second bush in the bottom lane. They could come in and actually go for this kill.
Well, is that what Charu wants to go for here? Let's figure things out, as we're going to be destroyed by both Makler and Libic there underneath the turret. And that means that Dexter is actually evil. Not got an opportunity to get in there just yet. And Dexter, he walked over a ward. In fact, 2 wards make that. There was a pink and a green in that bush. And Dexter will just back away from that one. Not really having any impact whatsoever.
Yeah, that's what was making me think, because of that pink ward being down in that bush, that they want to go for potentially that teleport. But we do have Charu, who just went back, and we didn't have Makati anywhere near the vicinity to really hold down that middle lane as Aris pushed up. But you see Kimon getting hit with the ultimate, but wow, just gave me barely with his life.
Yeah, jumps away from that one. I just showed you how far ahead Kikis is at this point. I mean, 30 CS, 1-1-2, 3 deaths already on the board for Kubon. That Haunting, guys, if you look at the gold there, it's 1,500 already is the difference, as we are going to see some action here in the middle. Makata and Charu getting involved with this one. Here comes Shen. This could be bad for Moots. He's going to have to use the charges on his ultimate there to actually back away. No kills coming down, but ultimate's used.
And 2 turrets taken for Dexter's Actually Evil too. So they got the middle, they got the top, and it's just about the bottom that needs help. And this is a sign for MYM like that to be very careful on the bottom lane, because they know they're going to be heading down here relatively soon. Dexter's Evil just running very quickly as a Karthus ulti coming in.
Yeah, Karthus ulti here just to force them back, but Kikis has managed to take down Kubon. There's Rumble dying as well in the process. Want all the action focus here on the bottom lane. Here comes Moots. Zyra ultimate will go down, and Moots is low. He's finished off. AOD now the target, as Charu will have to switch around surely for this one. They go in towards Fusharp. Charu is now on a rampage. Misfortune did manage to get the kill on Zyra, and that all ends with a 3-for-2 in advantage of MYM.
That was a fantastic exhaust that came out of AOD during that fight as well. It just right when Charu got there, bam, exhaust, locked down his damage. AOD was able to escape, but not luckily for Fusharp, who did not. But still, yeah, the point you made. Charu on a rampage, 4-0-2 right now. We talked before about all the kills being on one person, where you see the other 2 on the Libic, which isn't an ideal target, but it helps him get his items a little bit quicker. And I'm curious to see how well Dexter's Actually Evil can do something about this. Like, if they can burst on a fight, good, because then you prevent a lot of his damage. But he still has the ultimate. Like, he still has that passive that can really shut you down.
Right now, Makata coming over towards the blue buff. It's going to be started off here by Dexter. His ward went onto the corner bush, so not over into that blue buff. And that should be safe for Dexter is Actually Evil, and more importantly for Moops there in that middle lane. So let's have a look at some of the items that we've seen coming down. Leandri's Torment now finished. Quite a, the ironic name in there, because tormenting is exactly what Kikis has done in this top lane to Kubon.
Yes, it is. And we even see the Seeker's Ongar coming out, so it means they're going to be going for Azonias. And it's kind of become the League of Azonias for most teams. You see Libby getting caught here, but he should be able to escape.
Well, are they going to try and focus even further through? Nope, not with the presence of Makler coming up. Shen was off to the side. Doesn't quite have Stan United available to him just yet, but Dexter is Actually Evil, of course. No need to risk anything at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, they're ahead in gold right now. We see Kumon getting caught, though, by Kikis.
Yeah, and has to jump away. There's the equalizer down. The wall of pain will signal to Kikis that Karthus is hanging in and around there, as we are going to see Ari going very, very deep. Can Charu get in there? No. There's damage limitation, as Kubon almost finds death number 5.
The thing is, I love what Kikis did, though, because he put a pink ward down at the blue. He's trying to control that, trying to keep it away from Charu, which he knows, like, that's the threat. If we can keep the blue buff away from him, he won't have that cooldown, he won't have that energy. Libic getting caught, though, and he's not going to escape.
Wow, Dexter pulled him completely away there.
Oh, really?
And he's going to try and run away from this one. Bullet time will actually finish off the kill, and Charu took a lot of damage from that. Depth charge comes in as well. Kill him. There we go. They left it actually for Fusharp. That was nicely distributed. And, well, getting caught out again, Meet Your Makers.
And you saw Libic actually pick up a kill with his passive over to Kikis, and Meet Your Makers, they got to do something a little bit differently here, or their LCS hopes are going to be gone. Dexter is Actually Evil taking advantage of this and just playing extremely well. You see damage on Mikado, has no magic assist, but that was ridiculous. Just 1 Q out of Moops.
That is not good news for the Shed, who's supposed to come in there and protect the rest of your team when Just a single Q from Moops can do that kind of damage. Here we go, Dragon, number 2. For Dexter is actually evil, or is it? Meteor Makers are off to the side there. There's a chain of corruption coming out of Mackle. He's done a bit of damage, but the Dragon nonetheless was taken down by Dexter right inside of the pit as Kubon gonna go aggressive here. Shen gonna get involved as well. They are gonna dive in on towards Fushark. Here comes the ulti out of Karthus. Fushark gonna be melted. There's a reset. Can they get Dexter down as well? He's going very low. The snipe not quite gonna land in. His equalizer will actually save his teammate there. And again, Kick is coming up big.
Fantastic communication between their team right there from Meteor Makers. That knowing that, hey, I'm going to ult you on Shen. I want you to jump into the other team just so you can land that taunt. And then the exhaust coming out of AOD yet again. But yeah, just like I said, Kiki's keeping Dexter alive right there. And as we see, they could potentially go for a turret at the bottom lane. And honestly, they could use that. They really need a couple of turrets here because they've been missing out on quite a few dragons.
Kubon headed down towards bottom here as well. Are they going to be able to take down this turret? This would, of course, be the first turret of the game for Meteor Makers, who have not managed any of them so far. Let's have a look at middle. Okay, down a little bit as well. On that top turret, I don't think they've even done much damage there as Moops here in trouble in the middle lane. He's going to have to use a charge out of his ultimate to try and get away, but look at the damage of Kikis. Moops comes back in there with the Q, seals the deal. That's another kill, and Meteor Makers, they must be feeling the heat right now from this one.
Yes, they do. And the thing is, like, I mean, it matters that Charu dies, but still, in the end, he's Karthus. He's always going to be a huge threat in these fights. He's always going to be the focus of the enemy team to be taken down. So it's not a huge loss for him, and obviously you don't want to die, but in the end, it's not too bad.
It's not the fact that you die, it's the fact that someone else kills you, I think, is the real problem in the end. As Dexter here going to get taunted up. The crescendo doesn't actually hit anyone there from AOD. Quite the contrast to that last game where his crescendos were all on point. Funnily enough, the crescendos that he's missed have not really mattered in the grand scheme of kills and deaths, though.
Yeah, I remember in the first game, actually, when he played Sony, he hit a couple of one-person crescendos, but because of that, like, he was able to just... Actually, sorry, it wasn't game 1, it was game 2.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, but I mean, he kept hitting some really good crescendos that would set up team fights for them and ended up winning them the game because of it. But still, I mean, we have both teams actually grouping up towards the middle lane. We have Charu, looks like they're just going to feed him even more CS over towards his top side, get him stronger and stronger because he almost has that death cap done. And when that happens, it's going to be like a sign going off for Meteor Maker saying we should start fighting here because we have the strength.
Right now, though, Dexter is actually evil. Now putting on the pressure once again. Flash away from Mackler. Doesn't want to get hit and pulled in with that dredge line. And that is a very quick Dexter running around with those boots of mobility on again.
That's not good for Mackler. Like, I mean, obviously you lose a flash, that's not good, but he's going to need this as the fight's going because he has to dodge crescendo, he has to get away from a rumble, not to mention the Naz ultimate, the Ari in your face, the bullet time. Like, he needs that flash, that's his only escape. And right now he's only sitting back on that barrier at this point. But, ooh, does Charu have blue? No, he doesn't have blue buff.
This is a very, very big move from Meteor Makers. And keep things quiet. Players shouldn't be able to hear us or anything, but don't want to take any chances at this stage. That Baron now is down to almost nothing, and Meteor Makers are gonna sneak it away. What a play out the polls. That will put them ahead, or I say ahead in the gold. They're still behind by 1,000. I can't even read at this point. 1,000 gold behind, but the buff and that extra gold that they get from this one is going to mean that the next couple of minutes should be good for them.
It just made them so strong at this point. So we're going to have the death cap now done for Charu when he does go back. We have a lot of gold, 1,900 spent on Mackler, and we even have Kubon, who's needs to build towards that Bloodthirster relatively soon. But actually goes for Hextrigger instead for this WP comp. So they have a lot of damage. They have a lot of really good items completed, and they could go for this engage if they wanted to. Like, they could start to finally push some turrets.
They've just pinged Baron there. Dex is actually evil, which is, you know, a couple of minutes too late. And that's the thing. You know, after, in my opinion, after 17, 18 minutes, you have to have vision there.
Especially with the Karthus, who is like the Baron killer right there, because that Q does so much damage, you can sit back with your Defile. And we just saw, like, Charu probably did about 90% of the damage to Baron right there. But still, I mean, they're ahead in gold right now. I mean, even without that Baron, they were pretty far ahead. It's just up to them if they can hold on, because they don't want to go for a fight here. But we see how quick games can snowball, and if you have Meteor Makers any sort of chance, they're going to take it.
Yeah, they certainly will, as they stack up 5 men in the middle lane. Can they get their second turret of the game? There's a wall of pain down on towards Kikis. Oh, Shen actually went in there And actually, no, I thought it was a flash taunt. It wasn't. The flash is actually on cooldown at this point. Didn't quite land it.
They can turn this around. I mean, that was 2 major ultimates committed right there. The only one I have to worry about right now is that crescendo. This should be a turret for Meteor Makers. There's no doubt about it. And I'm just curious to see if they're going to go towards the top lane or maybe still push this middle lane.
Charo is going to be putting some damage in. That was dangerous from Kubon. One charm and it's all over if you're out of position like that. But now the minions start to stream in and we see Dexter is actually evil decide. Now what, guys, better just give this one up right now. We're not going to be able to hold on to this turret, but this inner turret is something different. They have to hold it as Makata went very deep. Looked like if they wanted to have that fight there to meet. We are going to see Dexter coming out, gets hit with those grasping roots. Meteor Makers make mincemeat of these minion waves coming out. They do not last long whatsoever.
No, they don't. And I really want to know if MYM is going to go in for this. It's going to be a very ballsy play, but it's like a high-risk, high-reward kind of play to them where they can just destroy Dexter's actually evil and then take the game from there. They do have the Oracle, so they get rid of all this vision. Looks like they want to barrel down this middle lane. They have the reach in from Baron. There goes the taunt.
Wall of Pain going in, everything going in here. This is going to be a big fight as the bullet time has done work, but Karthus in the middle of them is going to put the ultimate off now. Fusharp going to lose a lot of health as we will see a triple kill for Misfortune. Bullet time was bang on the mark. Wow, that is a great grasping roots coming out, but will it be enough? Dexter is going to catch Makler and he's been hit by the turret.
Oh,
Fusharp gets that one. Can he get the penta? Oh, grasping root comes down. Libic was burning and he's going to keep chasing. No, decides it's not worth it in the end, but that was 4 kills for 3. Looked like such a good start for Meteor Makers.
Yeah, we saw Rumble just blow up right in the beginning, but it was a misfortune. Fusharp was able to stay pretty much clear of everyone, and Meteor Makers just able to sit there in the backline and attack away. And maybe MYM should have backed off after getting those first kills and taking the turret, but they wanted more. They wanted that blood, and just like I said, high risk, high reward kind of play, and I don't know. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad in the end.
Well, Baron
could have been worse.
Gone,
yeah,
but that was
about
close to timing out anyway, so not the worst thing that could have happened. But what's going to change now? In terms of items, what do we see picked up there? Aegis for Zyra, Infinity Edge for Makler on Varus. Before that, Dexter, of course, did pick up that Runic Bulwark as well. So there's another dragon coming in for Dexter, who's actually evil. They're now almost 2,000 gold in the lead, up in kills, tied on turrets.
And looks like Charo was speaking of items, he's going to be going for that Saracen Brace relatively soon. Give him that little bit of extra tankiness, because you saw, like, he didn't go down that quick, but if you survived a little bit longer, it maybe have been a different fight. But the problem is, look what Fusharp just picked up, guys. He has a Guardian Angel now, and that is going to be a major problem for Meteor Makers.
Definitely. What is their plan now? Makata actually going up towards this top outer turret. He's like, am I strong enough? Okay, I'm not going to be strong enough for that one. I'll just back away from this. We've got Kubon coming to back me up. Zyra's off to the side as well. Grasping Roots not quite connecting there onto Moops. That could have been a dead Moops, to be honest, with the force that Meteor Makers had up there. Well, that's another great reaction, considering how things have gone. Dexter is actually evil, not putting down a defense whatsoever on that outer turret. Here comes the rest of the team, though. Looks like Meteor Makers might want to fight again. That's a great equalizer. Bullet time is going to shred Makata down. There were the Strangle Thorns as well that stopped them coming in, but there's the grab on towards Charu. He's going to put the Defile on and try and get as much damage out as he can. And there is also the ultimate out of Varus, and to be honest, this Karthus ultimate is not really going to scratch the surface.
Yeah, that was hesitation right there. The team, maybe a bit of miscommunication. Makata, you taunted Dexter. I mean, yeah, you taunted someone, but you taunted their tank. You needed to hit Fusharp. You needed to hit Moops with it. You needed to maybe even hit Sona with it just to stop it from crescending for a little bit. And they paid the price for it, losing those 2 members. Or sorry, only losing the 1 member, but still losing the fight pretty heavily right there.
That will leave us at 13 for 11. 1,500 gold difference. There or thereabouts. Joe's math skills, #1 in Europe, that's for sure. So what items have we just seen picked up after that? Shen finally getting that Aegis of the Legion in there. Of course, that's the second on the team. Got a Hex Drinker coming out for Kha'Zix, which, you know, a Kha'Zix that's doing well, you don't usually see a Hex Drinker coming out.
No, you really don't, but it's going to help a little bit against the double AP comp at least.
That's true.
Thing is, Makata picks up a red pot, so we're going to see Baron. Like right when it comes out, it looks like Meteor Makers might try to go for here. We have blue buff available now, so if Char picks it up, that's going to be a very quick Baron, but you are seeing AOD not let that happen again. He's going to put some wards down, and there's no pinks, there's no Oracle currently for Meteor Makers.
we've not really seen, that just reminded me as Makata went down to the bottom, of course he is a jungle Shen, which means he's not going to get to that point where he's so effective at pushing out things that quickly, but we've not really seen him pushing out those lanes right now. And the funny thing is, 40 seconds to go, he needs to be up this top lane. He doesn't have Stan United available.
It's going to be a major problem for them. I know they have the timer on Baron, but it looks like... And the thing is that they're going in back-to-back fights where they lost. So they lost the last 2 of them, and if they lose a third, like, it's going to keep getting so heavily in favor of Dexter's Actually Evil that they're going to be really far behind, not to mention Dexter is Actually Evil could take Baron right off of that. So they're being a little bit more hesitant here, playing a little bit more safe, and I think it's a smart play.
More wards being put down. Libic doesn't have an Oracle. Does have a pink ward, though. And she'll put that in the back of that Baron pit. The Baron does spawn. So spots his plants being taken down on the other side, so he knows there's people there for Dexter is Actually Evil. And they back away once again. There are a lot of wards down on that top side of the map. A pretty ridiculous amount of wards, actually.
Yeah, Dexter is Actually Evil. I mean, they did not want to let that Baron happen yet again. The first time was bad, but they're going to try something from happening this time. They have an Oracle, they have the Vision, and they're barreling down middle. Like, they're controlling the game at this point. They're forcing Meteor Makers to react to them.
Makata going down there. Does have... Oh, no, actually doesn't. I tell a lie. That Stan United still not off cooldown. Of course, Moops has a teleport as well. Charu has a teleport. Now, a lot of things to take into consideration when it comes to these fights with the teams not fully present. But it will be Dexter is Actually Evil to back away. We've hit that half-an-hour mark here as well. Now we're starting to hit that critical point as well. Again, where 1 fight, probably 2 fights at this very moment mean a victory.
I mean, I'm trying to think, like, where's the next action going to happen? And it's going to be a while, I think, because both teams know, like, they're 1 game away from, advancing to LCS, or they're 1 loss away from, being knocked out of the summer split here. And both teams really want this. And they're both playing very safe. I was expecting maybe a big play out of one team here, which we did see Meteor Makers go for in the middle lane on that tier 2 turret, but it didn't work out too well for them.
Yeah, you have to expect it, to be honest. These guys are fighting to play League of Legends professionally in the LCS. So one wrong step and it's all over for them. Something that especially Meteor Makers, I think we can safely say, have been training so hard for. They missed out in Warsaw for the spring split, but here we go. Baron gonna be started. I don't think they spotted that ward there over at the side, so Meteor Makers know that this Baron has been started. Is this going to be a case of baiting in? Look at this. Charu is on the top side here. Where's the wall of pain? Shen going to come in there. The fight going to be a bit split up for this one, but Charu going to be doing a lot of damage here as he goes in. Where's his focus going to be? They probably need to get overall towards Fusharp. There's the crescendo coming out. Misses again. Fusharp is going to get his GA pop. Charu, I'm honestly not sure why he'd backed away from that one then. I mean, his ulti is going to go off and get himself the kill there. Get himself 2 kills, actually. That will be a 3 for 2. Kikis there. He's going to be coming over the side. Moops as well. Not sure why you actually backed away from the position where that GA was going to pop anyway, because that's your damage right there.
Yeah, he tried to escape with his life, but you saw Sona come in, go for the kill. I mean, yeah, he could have died on top of him, but I mean, still, in the end, they got a double kill off of that. It was a decent engagement for them because they stopped the Baron being done, and Charo just using that teleport really effective right there. I mean, you saw him just sitting in the middle of the team, and no one could really react to him.
So, no Baron done. 35 minutes into the game. Our 3rd and final game of this best of 3 if you're just joining us. Dragon is available. That's definitely a safer target to be starting out here for Dexter is Actually Evil. Obviously, not going to be quite as beneficial at this stage as it was half an hour ago.
I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, they're practicing for their match versus Dragonborns, and I'm just like, oh, Jason, why would you think of that? But in the end, they do get the Dragon.
I'm wondering why you would think that's bad and then say it anyway.
I thought it was bad, actually. No, Freak baited me into it last time at the qualifiers, saying, oh, that's a funny joke. Go ahead and say it on stream, and I felt bad.
So, on towards the Baron side here once again. Finally, we see an Oracle coming out of MYM. It's with Kubon. They got a couple of pink wards in there as well. They're very scared to hit that ward down at the back there. Finally, will be taken out. See Moops actually doing a bit of split pushing. Not the thing that Ari does terribly amazingly.
Oh, this is really
Meteor Maker's going to start things off. It is ballsy because they've got full vision of it here. as the equalizer goes down. There's a wall of pain, but they catch Charu out anyway. Dex is a little bit away from his team, but the bullet time comes across Crescendo as well, but they've locked him up here thanks to Varus' ultimate, and Fushop is going to die. There's a double kill for Karthus. Here comes the ultimate. Moops is not quite going to block the damage. His Zhonya's was a little bit mistimed there, and now as Zhonya's comes out of Kikis, he will die straight afterwards here to Makler and Libic. Almost took Libic with him in the end, and that will be an ace for Meet Your Makers. Baron is going to be the next target for them.
You just saw Libic dance around those Rebel E's right there. Libic able to escape right there, but that was, okay, looking back at that fight, that was all due to where Moops came in, I have to say. He came in from the middle lane, which is not really where he needed to be. He needed to be closer towards the action, and because of that, he was delayed so long that Meet Your Makers was able to take advantage, able to do the damage to the targets they needed to, picking up a much-needed ace on their part, and they're going to get this tier 2 turret. They're not going to get Baron, but looks like they might be able to get the inhibitor turret, but they're going to have to back quickly because they could lose Baron if Dexter's Evil actually wants to rush it.
Yeah, this is, I think, still a little bit risky from Meet Your Makers, but they should be able to get that inhibitor. AOD is the first man, sorry, that's going to come up from this one. Misfortune is alive as well, and Meet Your Makers wisely, in my opinion, decide, okay, let's not get involved there. Let's just back straight off from this one.
Oh, wow. Look what Char just picked up, Joe. He has a Void Staff now. His Saracen Brace is done as well. He is so strong at this point now because of these items that it's going to be hard for, Dexter's actually able to, build accordingly to this. I mean, they have the Runic Bulwark, but it doesn't matter. Char was just doing so much damage, even to the Abyssal Scepter that Moop still has.
Yeah, casual 761 AP currently with Charu's Karthus. That is a lot of damage. Whichever way you look at it, that is gonna hurt in these fights. As we saw, and we didn't really give it, in my opinion, enough credit to Makler in that last one. His Chain of Corruption was really, really strong there towards the end of things. Baron, funny enough, is still alive, still there for the taking. We're tied on kills at this point. Still a slight gold lead for Dexter is actually evil. What we've just seen there, the team fight potential when it goes right for Meet Your Makers.
And I'm not sure that Baron will be up much longer though, Joe, because these teams have the potential to take it. They can take it very quickly, but they're scared to. Like, they don't want to go for an engage that they know they potentially lose here. Kikis, look at that damage.
That is pretty sick stuff. That was 2 lay waste there. Over half damage coming down, and Meet Your Makers start Baron.
And that's a key. That's like, hey, we have them low. We could probably go for this. We have the ultimate up for Karthus right now. They can easily go for this fight if they want. And Dexter's actually has to do something about it. The Rumble ultimate comes down, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
No, Equalizer comes in there. Is the Karthus ultimate, which is going to rip through everyone. And now that forces them to back away. See Fushop just trying to lifesteal back everything that is lost from that Karthus ulti there by taking down Race. But the Baron has gone over to Meet Your Makers. It gives them now the kill lead. And they're going to go chasing up this middle lane. This could well be our final fight of the game. Dexter is actually evil done so well to come back in this best of 3. But can they hold on to a Meet Your Makers that are on this? Completely fed at this point, heading up in towards their base. The inhibitor does go down.
It looks like they're going to play it safe. They're going to take it step by step. They're going to get all these outer turrets as they have the second tier 2 on the bot lane. Very easy to be taken right now, but Meet Your Makers, like, I love what Charu did in that last Baron fight. Like, he wanted to hold them back from going for an engage, so you even saw the Roma ultimate come in, but he's like, hey, I'm going to ulti you because I want to keep you out of this pit. I don't want you to go for an engage because even if you do steal Baron, we're going to ace you from that. So, yeah, he had that blue buff available, so the cooldown was about 86, 90 seconds on his ultimate. He's going to have that up, back up for the next team fight here, and Meet Your Maker's looking very good.
Looking very strong, but it's not over yet. Not going to call this one until a Nexus goes down. Now we're going to see that turret being attacked. About 1/5 of its health taken away. Dexter is actually evil, holding very, very firm on this one. We do have super minions starting to stream up through that middle lane, which is going to force Dexter is actually evil to react to that one here in the coming moments.
Yeah, they're going to have to give this one up, and if they don't, they're going to have to go for a full-on engage, and I'm sure, and honestly,
I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not under this turret. Maybe your inhibitor turret to save your another inhibitor, because if you lose two of them, it's not a good chance you're going to really come back in that game. We do have Meet Your Makers. They have all their stuff available right now. We're going to have Flashes on Cubone up very shortly, and they're going to go for this turret.
Yeah, plants are down, which means they can tank that turret up. Equalizer will come in there to get rid of minions, which...
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
That is not a good sign whatsoever here. But Dexter is actually evil. Don't think really Kikis needed to do that at this point. They need these damage in those fights, that's for sure. We've seen how much those equalizers can do when it comes to especially splitting off teams and what have you. But let's see here. They continue to try and get themselves in. Wall of Pain goes down. Minions are there. There's a snipe coming over. Makata will have to Shadow Dash back away from the turret. Now it's down to half.
We saw this in game number 2. Makati got caught on the inhibitor turret, and Dexter's was able to turn that game around from it. He's being a little bit smarter this time. He has the Baron. He's going to let it regen. He's going to try to just slowly chip away at this turret, and it looks like they actually might be able to commit to it right here. Or not.
Starts to go in there, but decides, well, they can actually put down a lot of damage. We're 41.5 minutes into this game. The builds are quite far on. Doesn't matter how tanky you are there. You're still going to take a lot of damage going in. You see MYM backing off somewhat again. Piercing arrow plus a lay waste or two gets rid of those minion waves without any problem. From MYM, though, their minions just aren't running fast enough up towards this turret. They're having to stall every time out. And to be honest, for Dexter is actually evil. The longer they stall here, the less time they're going to have on this Baron buff to really do anything of consequence with it. And Makata moves in again. There is a Karthus ultimate going down. Equalizer is going to be back up. The Crescendo will catch Libic, but the Stranglethorns already went out there. And Meteor Maker's going back into this one. Are they going to fight? Wall of Pain is down. The depth charge was used on towards Libic, and I don't think Dexter is actually evil have got enough to hold on to this one as they are going to dive in. Mook's going to Zonya's up right at the last second, and Fu Sharp can't really go in there for that one. We do see Makler take the kill. The inhibitor is going to die, and they're still going here. Kikis and Dexter are trying as best as they possibly can to get rid of those super minions, but they've lost that second inhibitor turret, and you know, statistically, teams who lose 2 inhibitors don't come back from games very often. This is, you know, backs to the wall now for Dexter is actually evil. It really is. And you know, over that entire play we just saw right there, I love what Chara did again. He used his ultimate to really zone away Dexter's actually evil, but the thing is, in Season 3 it doesn't work too well because you see on the team, the items, 4 home guard boots. If they would have backed out right away, they could have come into that fight really fast, full health, full mana. They probably could have won that fight, but they were able to catch him because of that flash taunt that Makati pulled out. That might have been the taunt that actually won them the game if they do, in fact, go out to close the game out. Well, time goes on, and see Dexter is actually evil trying their best to force out these lanes. Charu going to get himself a blue buff as well. He's full built. He is full built now. Let's have a look at his AP. What 884. 884. Quite a lot of AP. That's a lot of damage coming out of Charu. And that's the problem that Dexter's Evil's going to have, or is actually Evil's going to have, is we can kill him, but he's still going to be sitting in the middle of our team doing so much damage to us, not to mention the ultimate that can come out right after. It's just, it's really hard to deal with that, and they kind of need to like kill him and back off. They need to have that ability to retreat, and that's what the Rumble ultimate's really going to do. Yeah, so right now the Defile is doing just 330 damage per second. That's a lot of damage per second. Not to mention, you know, when he throws out those lay wastes and everything on top of that. And that's just one man in the team right now for Meteor Makers. And that's the beauty of Karthus. Even when he's dead, that 330 damage per second is still coming out for quite a while. So this is not looking good for Dexter, who's actually evil. They need to find some opening here to keep their dreams alive, qualifying for that LCS summer split. There's the inhibitor coming up. That's certainly one lifeline for them. You just have to wonder how long that inhibitor's going to stay alive. The thing is, if they let this inhibitor go down, that they're going to have to engage on that top turret. Like, they can't keep letting these inhibitors fall. They can't keep letting the turrets go down. There's a minute left on Baron. So Meteor Makers, if they get caught out here and they actually lose a couple of members, they could lose a Baron and potentially lose an inhibitor or two off of that. And this is like a really, really tense moment in the game right now. Super Minion's still up there, and as soon as you see Misfortune back off there, Meteor Makers go in for it because they know that without that Misfortune at the forefront, they probably can't do too much here, as we do see them going in there. The Crescendo lands onto only Libic, and actually the bullet time is going to catch out Charu. He's going to ulti in for this one. Who's it going to kill? It's going to take down one of them. Ulti comes out from Zyra. Have they got any more? Chain of Corruption lands. Meteor Makers, I'm not sure that they're going to be able to pull this one out here. You know, they've done a good couple amounts of damage, but Fu Sharp still with that Guardian Angel is alive. Rumble is in there, half HP. They need to get rid of Makata from this one. They're going to do a lot of damage as we see a very, very fast Nautilus come speeding out of the base. They are surely going to finish off Libic. It was a double up actually from Fu Sharp that got that kill. Makata is trying to get away. May try in vain though, but we do see Kha'Zix jumping over, tries to jump away, dies in midair. Double kill for Misfortune. Makler is still there though. He's going to try and get in there. Fu Sharp desperately trying to lifesteal back up towards full HP. And there's that Nautilus again coming speeding out of the base with the home guards on. Not quite got the range. They hold on just about.
And that's what I was talking about. Those home guard boots can be so deadly against your team. That engage was so close. It was just insanely close, insanely tense. You have Baron up, you have Dragon available right now. Dexter's Actually Evil is going to be forced to defend their own base now, and this should be a free Baron for Meteor Makers if they do, in fact, go for it. And it looks like a lot of items are still being wrapped up here. We finally have the Bloodthirster now done on Cubone. And it might just be that little extra oomph they need to take down, you know, Fusharp here, because that Guardian Angel, like, he's being protected quite well. He's sitting in the back line. He's doing a lot of damage, as you just saw right there. And if he can keep that up, he should be able to just destroy Meteor Makers.
See, MYM there. Cubone scratching his chin, wondering how they're going to get in there to get those final kills off that they need. And this thing right here might just be that boost that they need to finish off the game. The Baron buff going to be starting, and look at this. Dexter's Actually Evil are not going to give this one up, but it might just be dead by the time they get anywhere near it, yet it will be. And we do see them back away completely. And that is now the time for Meteor Makers.
Right.
These next 3 minutes are going to be it for MYM. Dexter's Evil have to do something really special.
And the thing is, Meteor Makers got Baron on every single member of their team, so they're going to have 5 members just going straight at you. Charu, 939 AP now. Like, that is just ridiculous to have. And with these 2 inhibitors being down, Meteor Makers is in the driver's seat. They can just wait here for a couple of minutes, let those mains push up, and then just take that turret by force when someone leaves to go help it out. Or they could go for the bomb inhibitor, just...
Fusharp getting rid of that wave and saying you're going to have to tank this turret up if you want to get in. As you said, bottom and middle pushing as well.
Dexter's Evil has to fight here. Like, look how low that turret is. If they let that go down, then it'll have 3 inhibitors dead. They cannot defend against those waves of super minions. They have to fight here, and it might be it.
Wall of Pain goes down. Dexter's Actually Evil will go in there. Crescendo actually hit a couple of them. The equalizer's good. Bullet time actually was stopped there in the end as the Chain of Corruption comes in there as well. Charu is going to die, but he's died right on top of them. Fusharp, is he going to go down? Karthus ulti coming in, but they survive it crucially here. That is Charu out of the game. 2 men down for Meteor Makers, but Makler is still hammering away. Cubone has taken the inhibitor on that bottom lane. Can Makler here pick up that inhibitor on that bottom side, as we are going to see Kikis go flashing in, but look at the damage he's taking. Makler's going to pick up that one. He will die here in the end.
Willie?
Oh, Willie, as the Sonya's is pop, finally he gets shut down by Sona, and that is 3 men down for Meteor Makers. Dexter is Actually Evil, actually holding on to the game.
The problem is, though, they lost all the inhibitors right there because the Kazakhs running around. Cubone got the bottom one, and defending against these 3 inhibitors when the rest of Meteor Makers gets up is going to be insanely hard here.
Insanely hard, I think, is a bit of an understatement, but they're holding on.
This is hard mode League of Legends here.
They are holding on just about as things go quiet until Meteor Makers come back towards the base and try and force more kills. Oops, trying to push out this bottom lane. Of course, that inhibitor was taken down by Cubone earlier on.
I think
Fusharp is hitting very, very hard.
I didn't actually realize that they lost 1 Nexus turret. I'm not sure exactly when that happened, but still having that only 1 turret up against the double super minion waves coming at you, this is going to be very hard. And you know, Dexter's Actually Evil has to go for another engage. Like, they barely escaped that one, you know, only losing 1 or 2 members, but they have to go for another fight here. They have to stop Meteor Makers, or they're just going to wait for the super minions to push, and then they can't defend the turret.
Inhibitor going to be spawning here once again. Meteor Makers still with a Baron buff, although not much of it. And I can't quite see exactly how long they got left on that, but it's surely about a quarter of its time left, so really not much time on that, but are they going to need to rely on it here? Dexter and Co trying to hold on to this middle inhibitor that respawned. Bottom one shouldn't be too far away from respawning in, but there's just super minions everywhere, and to be honest, it's Fusharp, the one who can take them down quickly.
Yeah, and they're going to have a problem with that as time goes on, but Meteor Makers, they're going to go for some inhibitor turret. We do see the ultimate coming out onto Charu, but oh, the Crescendo coming in.
Crescendo's good. It's actually caught 2 of them there as the equalizer. They're burning to death, and the bullet time comes in as well. Is Karthus ulti going to get kills? No, it's not. They've hardly lost any health. They are going to see them push through. Wow, great play there coming out off Cubone as he jumps in, jumps out, gets that kill. There's a Chain of Corruption spreading to Fusharp right at the end, but MYM they're going for it. They're not scared. They've hardly got any health, but they're going for it still. They're going to keep pushing in for this one. Very dangerous play, but...
That's the last Nexus turret, Joe.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Hitting the Nexus.
Yeah, that's the problem. The Nexus is being hammered away at here. We are seeing MYM hitting away on the inhibitor itself there. That is the final one going down. The Nexus itself
Look how low it is.
The super minions are still there, but they're slowly but surely being weeded away from the Nexus. Still 34 seconds on Charu's spawn, and it looks like Dexter is actually evil. Are gonna hold on a little bit longer in this game. Incredible.
The problem is, though, if they ever leave their base with 5 members, Charu can just teleport into the backline and he'll kill that Nexus in a matter of seconds. They have to stay in their base for a really long time. They need all their inhibitors to come up. By the time that happens, Baron will be back up. MYM will be able to lock it down and go 5 members into that Nexus.
Incredible ending to this one. Dexter is actually evil, showing great skill to hold on to this position that they're in right now. We're against the Karthus, who's, well, we're against pretty much the team who's all full build at this stage. And with that Baron buff on, I think 3 times against them now. It's not an easy position to defend, but they're showing some real character in being able to hold on to this one. Kikis has now picked up an Abyssal Scepter as well. That's the second one picked up for Dexter is actually evil. Baron, well, that's going to be coming up in 2 minutes' time now, but I'm not sure that Meet Your Makers are too interested. They want this game to be over.
Yeah, all they need to do is just let these waves push up a little bit. They'll have enough super minions to really just focus that Nexus down. I mean, I think they could just ignore the other team and just take the Nexus right away, and they'll be able to kill it. But, you know, in Meet Your Maker style, I think they're going to go for the kill as the Karthus when it comes down. Looks like they're actually going to rush it right now.
They're going to rush it. That's what they're going for. They're going to go straight in towards the Nexus. Equalizer goes down. Are they going to go for a fight first? No, look at Kha'Zix at the back there. They are hitting it. They're going to kill this Nexus right here. Meet Your Makers. Take down Dexter is actually evil. In a best of 3, they will put them against the Dragonborns in a best of 5 to try and qualify for the LCS Summer Split and get revenge for that loss that they had in the Spring Split qualifiers. You can see the absolute relief on the face of Meet Your Makers there. That was a very close third game. In the end, managing to pick it up, rightfully so. You know, Dexter's, they're all disappointed with that one. They're all going to be disappointed that it went so close down to the wire, that they weren't able to pick it up, and that they're not going to be part of the LCS Summer Split. But that's it from us for this best of 3. Let's try that one again. We're going to go over to our analysis test for this one, of course, with Demon and Quickshot.
Yes, thank you very much, Joe and Jason. You can forgive him for getting a little tongue-tied towards the end now. Just around about 3 hours plus towards the end. Fantastic games between Meet Your Makers and Dexter is actually evil. But it's Meet Your Makers that finally do go through, and wow, they had to work hard at it.
What a dramatic finish. I was thinking, it reminded me of 300 where, you know, Dexter's actually evil just did not die. They won team fight after team fight with super minions in 2 of their lanes, bashing on their Nexus turrets. And Foo Sharp on Misfortune. What a performance.
What a performance indeed, of course. Let's get straight to the replay we had, which was kind of the big turning point, we feel, really. Meet Your Makers, they were actually up against it. They were losing in kills at this point. It was 16-13, but they finally managed to find the way to force in towards the Baron fight.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you're saying. You know, the time was a big factor because we liked the MYM composition the later the game went. This is 36 minutes on the clock. So let's jump into the replay and set the tone for you. Meet Your Makers have made a very clear intent that they want to get Baron. This would have been the second Baron of the game as they rushed one very early. And if we look at Moops, he is pushing down on the bottom lane. So, you know, this is one of the key factors of why the engagement started. As we pause, get back the replay going, you'll see that, you know, initially Dexter's actually evil. They think about contesting this, but this is the split decisioning. Look at how the team splits up. You have Dexter going in alone and the rest of the team following in from behind. And I've got this in slow-mo because a number of key things happen. First and foremost, Crescendo only catches Charu, which you'll see in a moment. And as soon as that bullet time started channeling, my mind actually went, that's it, this is a great team fight. But the brilliant taunt from Okate instantly takes it out. And this is just a matter of landing all of the ultimates on top of one another. You just see Kubon jumping in there with Kha'Zix, landing, getting reset after reset. And Makla is completely untouched. The early game was so difficult for Kubon that this was the fight that really brought him back into it. And it's just thanks to those leaps and the resets that he not only gets the triple kill, but he manages to stay alive at the same time. And he'll chase down Dexter while they finish off Kikis. And Jason was pointing out how Libic was just sidestepping the Electro Harpoons. Up until this fight, team fights were sloppy. Up until this team fight, it was a number of mistakes and counter plays from both opponents, but this was a clean 5 for 2. It was a coordinated effort, and MYM just rolled over it.
It was finally one of the fights they could take, but of course the game went to 52 minutes. It did go on for a long period after that, and Jason kind of hit the nail on the head. In game 2, and maybe to an extent game 1, Makata was the man that was always going forward at the turret, and he got caught out a few times, and that's kind of why MYM was stalling a little bit. They didn't want to fall for that again.
So this is something that I'd actually like to talk to MYM about and find out about the call maker, the shot maker in game, because we were highlighting how in this game as well, they did like a tower dive. They got 3 kills, but lost 4 in reply.
A quadra-killer, more importantly, than Fushap.
Did not need to do that tower dive. And like you were saying, on the inhibitor turrets, in game number 2, you had Makata with Maokai up there, and he just got caught and blown up. Here, he was playing a little bit more defensive, showing intent, but backing away at the right time. And I'd just like to know, who's the shot call? Who decides those decisions? Because in game 3, they were a lot more accurate. It was a lot more, on point, and we didn't see MYM overstepping maybe until the inhibitors were down and being unable to just break through that King Leonidas barrier that Dexter's actually evil putting up.
And of course, we could go on and on because, frankly, it was a 3-hour epic, really, right there. But we're going to move on to the MVP, and really, it's actually not someone you'd expect because it's Fushap from Dexter's Actually Evil that we're giving the MVP to. Because, frankly, he played sublime in all 3 matches. Even though they lost it, he was always the man in the right position at the right time. At the end of the fights, he was cleaning up the kills.
Yeah, his bullet times in particular was some of the most impressive bullet times that I've seen in professional play. He hit every single target with every single spellcast ability, and he's arguably the reason that Dexter's Actually Evil was able to push this game so far and so late. So, had a very, very good game and a deserved MVP.
Yeah, absolutely deserved MVP, of course. That is the game. So, that means Meet Your Makers will be facing Dragonborns. That will be tomorrow morning, so don't forget to tune in for that one. Of course, that will be all starting off at 11 a.m. Central European summertime. We are in the summertime right now, and it's certainly feeling it, because it's definitely warming up here in Cologne, but we are going to get across towards the stage, and Shox is, of course, standing by with someone from Meet Your Makers.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Mokate. Now, Mokate, you were screaming your lungs out at the end because it was so incredibly close. You almost lost it. What were your thoughts going into those last fights?
That minions OP. Yeah, we had so many minions, and I was just screaming to not get engaged because we made many mistakes, and was just making sure we don't make solo queue mistake getting engaged when we didn't have to fight. Minions are just too good, and they could finish themselves. So yeah, that was it.
So you won your first match here. You got another one to win, of course. Tomorrow, you are so very close. And the last time you were so close in Warsaw, you kind of dropped under the pressure. Is that what was happening here in the second game, or?
No, not really. I don't think so. In Warsaw, it wasn't about the pressure. I think it was more like we were surprised by Dragonborns. Back then, now it seems obvious that Dragonborns are Dragonborns, but back then no one knew what they play and what do they do. So this time it will not happen again. And yeah, it's time to revenge.
Yes, and time for revenge, because I interviewed some of the Dragonborns 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, and they said, well, if we meet MYM, we're just going to 3-0 them again. So what do you have to say to the Dragonborns?
Bring it on.
Thank you very much, Makare. Okay, Team Alternate has been training fiercely to grab their spot in the LCS. They placed second at the promotional qualifier in Lille, France, and boot-camped it before this event to be at their best. They will be taking on the all-Spanish lineup of Wizards, who qualified through the Ranked 5s qualifier. Alternate versus Wizard is coming up next, as well as an interview with the general manager for Meet Your Makers.